Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BISP Solutions. This is Farah Alam, and here we are discussing about the bursting concept in Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence reporting tool in Oracle Fusion. And in our last session, basically, I have shown you the practical implementation of the bursting concept through which we had burst or split our report. And we had seen the single file busting concept in Fusion. So now right now in this session I'm going to show you how do we mm, uh, the another scenario that comes under the busting concept, which is multi-file busting concept in Fusion. So the previous one is basically the file which we are or the file or report which we are generating. I had assigned that particular file to a particular location via selecting the delivery channel as an email. Now I here in this session I am going to split or burst my report. So let's see how do we do that. So in order to do so, I have to log into the instance, and this is the catalog window of our OTBI environment. And this is basically the uh, data model, single busting DM and single busting report, which we had created in our last session. And while creating this one, I had received this that particular report via email. You can see that this is basically the subject which I had mentioned in my busting feature, and this is the file which I had received through this busting. So now next what I will do, this is the report, right? So this time I had told you that there are different scenarios through which we can split or burst our report, and in our previous session we had seen the single busting concept, and this time I'm going to show you the multi busting file concept in Fusion. So what happened, as we can I had told you that we can burst or split our report on whatever measure we want to split our report. We can split, like here these are the vendors, or we can call it as suppliers. So Lee supplies, these are basically the suppliers which are having this much of invoices. So this particular Lee supplies is having this much of invoices. So what happened in this one, if I split or burst my report depending on the vendor name, so what happened for this particular supplier or vendor, it is having how much invoices it is having right now. We can see 1 2 3 4 5 6, and so many invoices this particular supplier is having right now. So what happened if I burst or split my report depending on this vendor or supplier name? So one file will going to generate for this particular supplier, and if we have some other suppliers, then we can then that particular supplier, if one supplier is having 5 invoices, that what happen, one invoice will going to generate for that particular supplier, and another supplier is having 3 invoices. So one file containing 3 invoices will going to send another vendor or supplier. So, and if I split my report depending on the invoice number, if I split or burst my report depending on the invoice or vendor ID or invoice number, or so what happened, this much of invoices I have to generate for this particular supplier, like 1 2 3 4, the number of invoices this particular supplier is have, so that particular number of files will going to generate. So it is not the convenient one. So in this multi-file busting concept, what I will do over here, I am going to split or burst my report depending on the vendor name. So let's go ahead and see how do we do that. So go back to the catalog option, And I had told you that instead of creating new analysis, as this bursting concept is based on the SQL query, so instead of creating any new analysis, we are going to create our data model, and data model is the place where we will be able to write our SQL query. And here we have to click on this new data set option and select our SQL query. And here we have to provide the name for this particular query, as I am implementing multi-bursting file concept over here. So I am providing the name multi-bursting multi-file bursting query. And data source, I'm going to select the FSCM, as we are creating the invoice detail related information. So the our data source will be FSCM, which is financial supply chain management system. And here we have to put our SQL query. So for time being, I have already prepared my SQL query, and this is my SQL query through which I am trying to fetch my data. Firstly, I would like to put a comma separator over here, as it is missing over here. Otherwise, I will going to face missing right parenthesis error while running that particular SQL query. So here we can see that our SQL query I have copied here. And now next what I have to do, I have to click on this OK. So here my SQL query has been executed successfully. Click on this view data option. When we click on this data view data option, so this particular SQL query has been saved now over here. Now again we have to click on this view option, so that we will be able to see the data which we are fetching from this particular SQL query. I'm going to click on this table view, so that we will be able to see the tabular view of this particular data. So now what next I will do, I am going to save this particular data model. Click on save option and select the appropriate location where we want to save our data model. This is the place where I am saving my all my analysis and data models and reports. Multi-file bursting DM. DM stands for data model. I had already told this thing to you. Click on OK after providing the appropriate name. And here we can see our data model has been saved with this name, multi-file bursting DM. Now now what next I will do over here, I am going to save this as sample data, or click on OK. And after saving this as sample data, click on create report option. And here we had to select our particular data model which we have just created. And which is this one, multi-file bursting DM. Select this particular data model in order to generate the template layout for this particular one. And after selecting the appropriate data model, click on generate layout. And here we have to provide the name for the template, multi-file bursting, temp stands for template. After providing the name, click on generate. So our template has been generated over here. After generating the template, we have to save this particular report. Multi bursting multi bursting report. Click on OK. So here we can see our report has been saved with this name, multi bursting report 1. Now next what I will do, I will go back to the catalog option and view this particular report or open this one so that they will be able to see the data which containing this particular report. Now next what I have to do, I have to go back to the catalog option and here I am going to edit my data model as I have to implement the bursting concept over here. So I'm going to click on this bursting option and here I am going to click on this create new bursting and I have to provide the name for this particular one and I'm going to select this one, bursting mail SQL query, and demo data source is my FSCM. And here this is basically the bursting feature which begins over here. So here I'm going to split my data based on the vendor name. So deliver by is always same as split by. So the same fashion in which we split our data, we have to deliver in the same fashion. Okay, so after providing all the appropriate things, here we have to write our bursting query as same delivery channel I am going to use over here for the multi-file bursting concept. So my here again my delivery channel is email. So I am going to again put a comma separator over here, otherwise we will going to face an issue or error like missing a right parenthesis. And this is the bursting query and these are basically the parameters, 8 parameters which the mail delivery channel contains. I'm going to select this query which we are going to define under the bursting definition, paste it over here. Now what we have to do, we just have to click on this save option. Once this query is saved, then we'll get through by when this particular query is saved, then we'll be able to know that our SQL query is correct, there is no issue. Then click on view data and when we click on view, nothing will happen over here. Basically the bursting feature has implemented in this one. Now next what we have to do, we just have to schedule this particular report, right? So how do we do that? We have already seen this one in our last session in which I had shown you the single file bursting concept. So what we have to do, we just have to click on this more option and we have to click on schedule, and here we have to provide some required or mandatory information like the name for this output bursting mail is the name for my reports output, and this is the basically my template name and format, which format you want to keep for your report, as I'm going to keep it as PDF. Select time zone. If you want to keep the same time zone, you can keep it, as I'm going to select this Kolkata India time zone, so I'm selecting this one. And here we can add our destination, like I'm going to provide this as my destination, and here I'm going to select this test multi bursting is working or not, and same thing I'm going to provide under the message field also. Click on this one and click on schedule. Nothing I'm going to provide over here. Inside notification, nothing. And diagnostic again. And after providing all the appropriate things, we just have to click on this submit option, and here we have to provide the report job name. So I'm going to provide multi file multi bursting file, and I'm after providing the report job name, click on OK. Here we get one confirmation message that job multi bursting file successfully submitted. For scheduling process, it has been successfully submitted. Now what I have to do, I just have to click on this return option or click on catalog, and here click on this more and click on history, so that you will be able to see whether this report has been successfully scheduled or not. So here we can see that we get the success message over here. Now in order to see this bursting impact or feature, whether it has implemented or not, what we have to do, I have told you that we have to submit this particular report as an and we have to submit this as an enterprise scheduler job. So we just have to go back to the uh, instance homepage, and under this one we just have to go to the um, settings and action option, and here we have to go to the setup and maintenance, from where we can submit our particular report as an ESS job. And we have to click on this task panel and click on search option, and here we have to write this manage enterprise scheduler job. To see the bursting features, to see the bursting feature or the bursting reflection, whether it is reflecting or not in our report, we have to submit this that particular report as an ESS job. I think all these things are clear to you, as I had already shown these things in our previous session also. So here we have to provide the name for display name. So multi my multi bursting file. This is basically the display name, and same name I am going to provide under the name field also. But what we have to do, we have to remove all these spaces and put an underscore over here, as blank spaces are not acceptable over here. And under path, what path we have to provide over here, basically we have to provide this our folder name, which is this one. No, not this one. Go back to the catalog option, and here this is under properties. This is basically our the folder name. The folder name is basically our path, the folder which contains that particular report. That folder name comes here under path, and a job application name is FSCM ESS, Financial Supply Chain Management Enterprise Scheduler. And next we have to select the job type, as it is a BIP job. BI publisher. BIP stands for business intelligence publisher. And then what next we have to do? We just have to enable this bursting report. Otherwise, we will not be able to see the bursting feature in our implementation. And default output format will be PDF. And here we have to provide the report ID. From where we get this report ID is basically we just have to click on this more option and click on schedule, and this is basically our report path. Copy this one and paste it over here and remove all the unnecessary spaces. Check it at the beginning and in the end also. There is no extra or unnecessary spaces involved over here. After providing all the appropriate things, click on save and close option. It will take a little bit time, as the entire process is running in the background. So we just have to wait patiently in order to submit this job as an ESS job. So here my job has been submitted over here. Click on done. And what next we have to do? We just have to go to the instance home page and schedule this job by clicking on navigator, and under navigator we have to click on tools, then we have to click on schedule processes. So we have to schedule this particular process, and I forgot to copy that particular name. What was that? I think my multi bursting file. This is, I hope so, this is the report name which we have provided over there under ESS job. Just check for this one, click on search. Hopefully we get it over here. Okay, fine. Now click on OK. Okay, and we have to submit it. And this is basically 1643 is our report job ID, 1643. Click on refresh. Here our file is in running mode. Refresh this one until we get the succeeded message over here. Right now it is in running mode. Keep on refreshing until we get succeeded message over here, and we get it. Click on this one, and here we can see that our job is submitted, and we just have to check for the mails. So here we can see that I got this mail. This is the mail which I have received through this bursting concept. So here we can see that I have received the mail for this particular query, and basically this particular query, how many vendor ID are present over here. One, we can see that one is defined over here, two is here, three, 4, 5. So what happened, 5 invoices will going to generate for 5 vendors. So let's see whether we have received 5 mails or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mails we have received. This is for this particular supplier, and this one for another, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. So this is basically how we can split our report based on any of the measure which we want to burst our report. And this is basically about the multi-file bursting concept in Fusion, and this is all about the bursting feature in Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence reporting tool in Oracle Fusion. If you have any question regarding this, please reach out to us at www.bisptrainings.com or www.bispsolutions.com. I hope you like this one. Thank you everyone for your time. We'll continue in our upcoming session. Thank you everyone for watching.